flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yeah.
What's up, Eagles Nation, and welcome to another episode of Eagles Connect. On this episode, we will be talking about free agency and the Eagles' off-season moves, or rather, lack of off-season moves. On my last episode, we talked about the Hassan Reddick signing and how he will be used in this new hybrid defense that the Eagles are trying to implement. Absolutely fantastic signing, and it definitely fills a much needed need for pass rusher. Other than that, Howie Roseman really didn't do much in free agency. I mean, he got extended for 3 years. I don't know if anyone finds that exciting. But you know what? I can't blame Howie Roseman for the lack of moves this offseason. I do believe the man tried. I really do. If anything, I do think this offseason is an indication of what players outside of the organization view the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's start with the wide receiver position. There was abundance of move this free agency, especially with the wide receiver position. You had probably the top 2 wide receivers in the league right now traded, and some really good wide receivers signed. I know Eagles fans are frustrated, and so am I. People can't believe that these players were available, and Howie Roseman, with 3 first-round picks and plenty of cap space, couldn't make a move happen. But it's not all up to Howie. You have to think, why would a wide receiver want to come to a run-heavy offense with a QB who's struggling with throwing the ball? I mean, the truth hurts. You saw what I did there? But, I mean, Eagles really tried. Eagles was in contact with wide receiver Allen Robinson, and he decided to go with the LA Rams. I mean, I would too if I was him. There were multiple reports that they were interested in Juju Smith-Schuster, but he decided to go with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Russell Gage signed with Tampa and Brady. Then you had Christian Kirk and Zane Jones going to the Jacksonville Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence. Now, I do believe Kirk was more of a money issue because Jacksonville definitely overpaid for him, and the Eagles didn't want to go that high, but you also can see a trend here. Then you had the trades. Amari Cooper was traded to the Browns. There was no way the Cowboys would have traded him to us. Devontae Adams went with the Raiders because he wanted to be reunited with his college QB, Derek Carr. And then you had Tyreek Hill going to Miami because, you know what? He just built a new house in Florida. I mean, the Jets tried to trade for him and he wouldn't even entertain it. So he definitely wanted to go to Miami. Then you had Robert Woods, who became available because of the Allen Robinson signing, and it was reported that the Eagles did offer a trade for him, but he actually asked the Rams if he could go to the Titans rather than the Eagles, and the Rams granted that for him. Woods went for a 6th-round pick. And then just this weekend, Devontae Parker got traded to the New England Patriots. Now, I think Eagles could have done something, but the Patriots actually offered the 3rd-round pick, and I don't know if Devontae Parker is worth a 3rd-round pick, especially with kind of the loaded wide receiver class that's coming this year. Outside of that position, though, the same thing is happening. The Eagles offered safety Marcus Williams almost close to the same deal that the Ravens offered, but he chose Baltimore. The reality is that Philadelphia is just not that attractive. Yes, we signed Reddick, but that's because he wanted to come back to his hometown. And we almost pulled off a trade with Calvin Ridley, but that's because Ridley knows Hurts and played with him in Alabama. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Eagles still could pull off some trades. Like, someone like DK Metcalf would work because, you know what? Hurts is definitely an upgrade from Drew Lock. And then you could even go Brandon Cooks, who his QB is Davis Mills. And then you have AJ Brown, who could be available, so can Deebo Samuel, just because they are working on extensions, and if something falls through, as we saw in the past, they could be available for trade. But again, out of all these wide receivers, if you have someone like the Green Bay Packers given a call, I bet you most of them would agree that they rather play with Rodgers. And then also there are rumors that the Eagles are interested in Stephon Gilmore, cornerback, but so are the Chiefs and the Bills. And then you have the Honey Badger Tyrann Mathieu, who the Eagles are also rumored to be interested in, but also Cowboys, Colts, Saints, Broncos, Ravens, and the Steelers are also interested. So we'll see what happens. But again, it is hard to sign these players in the current state that Philadelphia is in. Now, inside the organization is a different story. And this is what I think Howie Roseman was able to work with. And let's look at some of the moves. The Eagles re-signed Anthony Harris to a one-year deal, which was super surprising because I thought it would be McLeod, not Harris, who would be re-signed. Nevertheless, we needed to sign the safety. And I think Harris didn't have a bad year with Philadelphia, but I also think he didn't have a wow year either. But I think we were hoping that Harris still had some juice left and be able to repeat his 2019 season. However, a move needed to happen, and for $2.5 million, it's not bad at all. Then the Eagles went ahead and released and re-signed Fletcher Cox to a one-year deal worth $14 million. Both Cox and the Eagles know that he's on the decline as his age creeps up, so his contract could not be justified. However, Fletcher Cox not wearing midnight green in September also could not be justified. This was just an example how players inside the organization do believe in the team. Even though Cox is on the decline, he is still very productive. Not only that, but just having him on the field makes everyone around him productive as well. He makes Hargrave better, he makes BG better when he comes back, and I truly think this move was most beneficial for Milton Williams as he continues to learn from Cox. Then they went and they signed Boston Scott, the Giant Killer, to a one-year, $1.7 million contract. Just want to make this super quick. Scott is a reliable backup and an excellent change of pace guy. He is always welcomed in the Eagles' backfield by the fans, and if the Eagles are planning to continue this run-heavy offense, they're going to need him. The next move was signing Zach Pascal to a one-year deal worth $1.5 million from Indy. Now, I don't think this was the wide receiver signing that the Eagles fans were hoping for, and by the contract, neither were the Eagles. However, Pascal does have a good relationship with head coach Nick Sirianni. In 2019 and 2020, Pascal did have 607 and 629 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns in both seasons under Nick Sirianni as his offensive coordinator. I do think he's a really good number 4 wide receiver, maybe number 3, and he is also a really good blocking receiver and a special teams guy. Again, the contract shows he's nothing more than that. However, I do believe he surpasses Jalen Reagor in the depth chart. Then Howie Roseman pulls a controversial move out of left field by signing Derek Barnett to a 2-year deal. Now, I'm going to pause on this because I do have a lot to say about this signing. So let me go and move to the last signing, and then we can get back to Derek Barnett. The last signing and the most recent was for linebacker Kaiser White from the LA Chargers for a 1-year deal worth $5 million. Now, I like this signing quite a bit. A lot of Eagles fans didn't know what they were getting when the Eagles signed White and felt like it was an Eric Wilson type of signing. But I'll let you know right now, Chargers fans know exactly what the Eagles are getting, and they were vocal about how upset they were that the Chargers didn't sign him. Eagle fans, you're getting a 26-year-old off-the-ball linebacker who is a starter for only $5 million. That's what you're getting. In 2021, White had a breakout season. White started all 17 games and finished the year with 144 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 4 QB hits, 2 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. I do think he's an upgrade from Alex Singleton, who left to go to Denver. Now let's go back to Derek Barnett. Now I hear all the rants and all the hate on Derek Barnett. And listen, I get it. Barnett never lived up to his first round selection. Last year, the penalties really killed us, and he only had 2 sacks. Now, I'm gonna go on record and say I'm actually fine with this signing, and here's why. Let's first look at the contract. At first glance, 2 years, $14 million, that's a lot. But if you actually look at the terms, it's not that bad. In 2022, the salary is 4.5. You have base salary of $1 million and an advance of 3.5. You also have a pre-game roster bonus of $1 million. So you actually have right now $5.5 million, but the cap hit is going to be $2.7 million. And then if you look at 2023, you have a salary of 7.5, but here's where it gets interesting. The base salary is $1 million, and then you have an option bonus of $6.4 million, as well as that pre-game roster bonus of $1 million. So if you're looking at this contract, it's in reality it's a 1-year contract worth $5.5 million. So what does that tell me? Barnett is no longer seen as a starter. Josh Sweat got a 3-year $40 million contract. Now that's a starter. Barnett is being brought back to be a rotational defensive end. That's all. I know we still have a bitter taste in our mouth, but you can put that first round pick behind us. If this was any other player, we would be talking about him the same way we're talking about Kaiser White. Let's just remove his name for 1 second. Eagles just signed a former first-round pick to a 1-year, $5.5 million deal. In his first 5 years, he had 24 sacks, 50 QB hits, 92 hurries, and 26 assists. That's pretty good for a rotational player, and he's only 25 years old. That's what we would be saying if it wasn't Barnett and it was someone else. And then you have to look at the other aspect of the signing. Who's left? In free agency, most of the premier defensive ends have already been signed. Now, you do have Jadeveon Clowney, but is the Eagles really going to be his destination of preference? And you also have Melvin Ingram and Justin Houston, but both are well over their 30s and probably going to ask more than they're worth. Now, if you look at the draft, I'm not sure we're going to have anyone that we are willing to draft in the first round at pick 15. In every mock draft that I've been looking at, there have been a good amount of defensive ends getting picked in the top 12. So I do think that Barnett is a good insurance if that happens. So again, I don't mind the pick. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys think about Derek Barnett. Also, what Howie has been doing and if it's his fault or not. And also, as always, please look me up on Instagram as well as Twitter at Eagles_Connect. And also subscribe and hit that notification button so you know when new episodes are coming. Until next time, this is George, signing out.